What's up, guys? I'm Riven.
I'm Talos.
We're the Studley Boys. Welcome back to the Studley News Network. Today, we got some big streaming-related news to cover. Mixer shuts down, and there's a ton of drama going on Twitch. But before that, I just want to remind you that we are currently streaming The Last of Us 2 on Twitch. So be sure to follow us there and check it out. We currently stream Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And as always, if you like our video, you can always support us by liking and subscribing. With that said, let's get on with the news.
Let's do it. The big news of the week. Obviously, we wanted to cover this sooner, but we just didn't get around to it due to our schedule and whatnot. But the big news that everyone's talking about is Microsoft shutting down Mixer and now partnering up with Facebook Gaming. How you feel about that, Riven?
Yeah, man, this is like a really big story, and we covered this before in one of our previous episodes.
I want to say it was like episode 1. Actually, it was a while ago.
Yeah, episode 1 or something like that. We compared the numbers with Mixer compared to other streaming platforms like YouTube and Facebook and Twitch, obviously, and from the numbers, Mixer wasn't doing too great, and now we see the
the aftermath of that.
Yeah, the aftermath of that.
But it's crazy though, because like I kind of thought there would be like a little bit longer, but it just out of the blue, like, oh, we're shutting down July 22nd. Like, there's no notice whatsoever for the Mixer partners. All this just happened out of the blue, and then boom.
So here are the numbers for the hours watched in 2019 to 2020 of April. So as you can see here, Twitch had 101% growth over the year.
Roughly.
Yeah. Facebook Gaming having a 238% growth, with YouTube Gaming having 65%. And here's Mixer. From April 20, from April 2019 to April 2020, they barely went up.
They barely like the growth there is 0.2%. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
The numbers here are pretty telling as to how unpopular Mixer has been. So here are the numbers for the shelter-in-place views. From March 2020 to April 2020, hours watched, right? Facebook Gaming continues its growth, right? Having 72% growth within that month. Then Facebook Gaming 14%, and Twitch with pretty decent 50%. Mixer only went up by 15%, which honestly isn't that bad.
It did better than YouTube.
It did better than YouTube. Yeah. But still, not a whole lot.
But you have to keep in mind though, YouTube Gaming is not specifically a streaming platform, so that 40% gain is actually not that big.
Yeah.
Or that, I guess, that big of a loss for YouTube. Whereas for Mixer, the whole point of Mixer is the streaming, and 15% shows how telling it is. And
right. Yeah. So what Talos is saying is Mixer is a dedicated streaming platform, whereas Facebook and YouTube, not really, and they're still pulling in significantly better numbers. And of course, Twitch is always going to be like the top dog here.
Now, I kind of mentioned this already with my Market Watch with Talos video that I just uploaded. Well, basically, Microsoft, they're known to like shut down quote unquote failures in their whatever venture they're shooting for.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the latest of that shutting down. So it's not just the failures in itself, but also the fact that Microsoft is investing more in X Cloud. They're the new like feature that they're working on. And so a lot of it is I guess more pushed towards that. So like they want to kind of like, I guess, trim the fat in a way. And one of the failures in this case, unfortunately, is Mixer.
Honestly, I was expecting them to maybe push Mixer a little bit more, seeing as the Xbox Series X is coming out. What do you think about that? How is this going to affect the Xbox Series X, do you think?
Not much, honestly. Like obviously they were going to try to push Mixer into it if it was still existing at that time.
Yeah.
But Now they have Facebook Gaming, so they still have their streaming platform, and as mentioned before, they're kind of pushing for more of the X Cloud, and something that wasn't also mentioned, but Microsoft is the one that's kind of been holding, almost reducing their funding, because obviously they to make a platform like this succeed, it has to be advertised and promoted, and giving the necessary funding for that stuff. But Microsoft has been slowly every quarter reducing the funding for Mixer. People don't take Facebook Gaming very seriously in the streaming world. But in terms of growth, there's plenty of growth there. In terms of people jumping into Facebook Gaming, but it's not going to be legitimized in terms of being a big platform for streaming. Like, people think that, oh yeah, if you're a big streamer, a big time streamer, they think of Twitch. They may even think of YouTube Gaming in that regard.
Yeah.
And Mixer was, if it was part of that because it was a streaming platform, but people don't think of Facebook Gaming for streaming. It's almost like a tacked on thing that Facebook added on because of, obviously, streaming is big now, and they want to just add in an extra segment in their platform.
With that being said, we can both agree that the true winners of this whole deal were Ninja and Shroud.
And other top Mixer streamers that have the exclusivity deals, yes.
Yeah, so if anyone's not familiar with the story, right? So Ninja, one of the biggest Fortnite streamers, right? He made a deal in 2019. I believe it was $30 million.
I think at least 3 years. At least a 3-year contract.
It's a multi-year contract deal. And he was supposed to stream exclusively for Mixer, and over a span of a couple of years, he'd earn $30 million, and that was I
want to say they equate to 90,000 a day.
Yeah,
that's how much you'll earn a day.
Yeah, so that was Microsoft's attempt at maybe trying to pull more viewers into Mixer, and he also got Shroud too. Yeah, I've seen Shroud in Overwatch. He's I'm pretty sure he's streaming Valorant as well, and I know him for Apex Legends.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so we showed you the numbers earlier, and that strategy didn't seem to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did not convince other people to switch over.
Yeah.
So basically, Facebook wanted to. They basically doubled their whatever their contract was.
Yes.
So the deal is basically the contract is this way, where Mixer needed the platform in order for those two to stream it, and their obligation was for Ninja and Shroud to stream at least a day or whatever the contract was for so many hours within that time frame to meet the contract obligation. The fact that Mixer shut down means that they don't have a platform to stream on, so they switched to Facebook Gaming. Facebook Gaming offered them a contract to maintain the contract valid. I forget what the actual legal name is, but basically, the fact that they both said no at the same time, it shows that they don't have a platform to stream in. So thus, Microsoft had to pay out the full amount then and there, as direct deposit, because now they're not abiding by what their contract says initially.
Right. So Ninja got paid for his $30 million that he signed the contract for, and he only streamed for a couple of months. I don't think it's even maybe a year.
Yeah, about a year, and then I think Shroud was about 6 months.
Yes, and I think his contract was $10 million or something. So they both made the money that they signed up for.
They probably go the same route as what they had then, is try to get exclusivity deals with either Twitch or YouTube Gaming.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I wanted to point out is Shroud will more than likely probably go to Twitch, only because he already has a fan base there, and no matter what he does, he's going to succeed in.
Yeah.
But Ninja is kind of the iffy one. He can go back to Twitch, but I feel like he won't grow as much as he could. I feel like there's a much bigger potential for growth. Obviously, we don't know what Ninja or Shroud's goals are, but Ninja has a better chance of growing more on YouTube. But YouTube is not going to give him the big check that Facebook was going to offer him at $60 million.
Yeah.
So he'll probably take that loss of that revenue income, but he has a chance to grow even bigger than like grow his brand even more. Ninja wants to be more of a household name, and if he went with Facebook or Twitch, it won't extend that goal that he wants. At least that's what we think his goal is going to be. Because obviously, if you recall, he went to Ellen DeGeneres show. He did interviews with like big top talk shows. He did Walmart deals. He did he transversed that just a streamer mentality that Twitch is.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, Ninja decided to do a pretty generous thing, right? According to this article, Ninja drops into streams to donate to those affected by Mixer shutdown. So we talked about this before. He made a ton of money, and really, what the people that are most affected by this are the smaller streamers, right? So they're the ones that are really going to get hurt from this deal, because whatever following they have on Mixer might not transfer over if they decide to go to Twitch or if they decide to go to Facebook gaming.
Yeah, it's very hard to like tell someone to like, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch now, follow me there instead. Like obviously the true fans probably will, but it's still very hard to move a giant community like that over.
Yeah, you're pretty much starting over. You're pretty much starting over from scratch at this point.
In a way, yeah. In a way, you are.
So no matter what you think of Ninja, he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, definitely.
He's helping the community the most affected by this, which are the smaller streamers on Mixer. So good guy, Ninja. Good guy.
Yep, and a lot of news. I was not really talking about this, so we definitely want to convey some of the pros and positives out of this.
Yeah.
Almost traumatic moment in the streaming community here.
In the end, this isn't really going to affect Microsoft.
The bottom line,
yeah, because Microsoft has so much money. They failed before in other projects, right? And they have so much money they can just keep going. So this isn't really going to hurt them in the end.
Yeah. So we'll definitely see how this goes. But obviously, Microsoft definitely is another failure in their books.
Yeah.
But we have to think about the streamers out there. Is definitely don't set your eggs in one basket. Definitely try to diversify. Don't try to stick to one platform, because any day these platforms can just shut down. Like as big as Twitch is, we don't know how long it's going to last. That could shut down too. So it's best just to kind of diversify to all the platforms you can. And just know that you can't be relying on one source of income.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though, right? Isn't there like some exclusivity contract with some of these streamers, the streaming platforms?
Actually, Facebook, you can multi-stream with Facebook. You can multi-stream with YouTube. It's only Twitch that has the exclusivity like clause for affiliates. But certain partners, if it's written in their contract, they can actually multi-stream.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, they do have that exclusivity deal. But I read online that like, to be honest, the stuff that Twitch does might be against the law. Like you can't really tell an independent contractor, basically that's what we are, to only stream on one platform.
Interesting.
But because the only way to do that is if you're a direct employee of Twitch.
Right.
Which we're not. We're just independent contractor in that regard. But obviously, no one's going to fight because Twitch is so big.
Yeah.
And that's just how the way it is for now.
Yeah. So it's sort of like a balancing act almost, right? You can choose to not stream on Twitch exclusively, right, and then stream on these other platforms. But Twitch is where the audiences are. Like
exactly.
It's got like the biggest user base. So if you want an audience, you got to go to Twitch, and you might have to sign an exclusive deal with them. So you never know. Yeah,
but like I mentioned before, like it's best just to kind of diversify. So like if you stream on Twitch, do something like a unique show on YouTube, like this, for example.
Yeah.
So that way you're not reliant on just one source of income if one thing is exclusive or not.
Yeah. Okay, rolling into the next story. Now, this is something me and Talos don't really like covering too often, because it doesn't really count as gaming, but it's still associated
Still
with
one of the
gaming.
big news, yeah.
Yeah, and it's it ties in with like streaming culture and stuff like that. But it's just been too big not to cover, so we're just gonna go over it really quickly.
As best we can. Obviously, we're not going to cover every single detail, but we're going to do it the best we can, and to kind of showcase some of the drama and the neglect that's happening in the streaming world, and some of the
Yeah,
disrespect that some of these women are encountering during these events.
yeah. So here we go. A wave of sexual abuse stories is causing a reckoning in the Twitch streaming world. So pretty much the video game streaming world is going through its own Me Too movement. Not too long ago, we had that with like the Hollywood industry, right?
Hollywood, yep.
A couple of women, they came out and they told their stories about how they were taken advantage of by like these people.
Movie execs,
yeah,
yeah.
like producers and stuff like that. Like the Harvey Weinstein story. They were sort of pressured to perform sexual acts if they wanted to get further in the business, pretty much. And it's happening right now with the video game industry. So things like that, it just doesn't happen in one place. It happens everywhere.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the big stories right now, right, is centered around Omid Dariani. He's the CEO of Online Performers Group, and pretty much that's like I guess like a management company that manages all these streamers.
Yep.
And
they also manage some of the basically their sponsors and everything that brand deals they have.
Yeah, they organize brand deals, they handle business. Okay, so in a Twitter post that was published on Saturday, right? Overwatch community development lead and former streamer Molly Ayala accused Dariani of predatory behavior. To summarize it, she was asking him for advice, right? And the last advice he gave her was that if you want to get far in the industry, he was pretty much insinuating that you had to sleep your way in.
Yep. I think if it's the same one, that basically talking about you basically doing the right thing.
Yes.
And maybe doing a threesome with him and his wife.
Yeah. Here's the thing that bothers me, right? This thing happened back in 2014. So this is just all coming out 6 years later. I mean, it's the same thing that was happening with like the whole Me Too thing in Hollywood, right? A couple of people most of the women kept quiet about it. I guess like if they wanted to go further in the business, they can't call these people out, right? According to this,
whether it's fear or just not being irrelevant, there's multiple reasons why they probably hid that fact from everyone, but it still bothered them to this day.
Yeah. So here we go. Ayala wrote that she said nothing back in 2014 because she was intimidated by Dariani's power in the industry.
And it got to a point basically where these streamers wanted to boycott live streaming on a certain platform. And there's even, I think yesterday, there was a whole Me Too blackout movement on Twitch. Yeah, this was planned for basically from 12 a.m. until 11:59 p.m. And it aims to recognize those who have spoken out and against abuse in the video game industry. Now, obviously, this shouldn't be done, but I guess it still happens. Obviously, we don't know what these people experience, what they're going through, and why they hid it for so long. But obviously, everyone has a story, and the fact that they're actually opening up to this time and to basically speak out for all these predatory people out there is really strong of them to actually speak against their abusers, because most people don't do that. They just keep it in for the rest of their lives and buried in deep inside.
Yeah, like we mentioned before, it's this has been happening for a couple of years now, and now they're just coming out with it. Same thing that happened with the Hollywood Me Too movement. It was like years in the making.
People with power sometimes they feel like they can just do whatever they want, and it's probably still going to happen. Unfortunately, we hope it doesn't, but it's hard. It's really something you just have to watch out and protect yourself.
Two big streamers were also accused of inappropriate behavior. Tom Syndicate Cassell and Destiny 2 streamer Lono Say No to Rage. His name is just Lono, since apparently he's never given away his last name. So Cassell is a streamer with 3 million followers, right? I think he plays CS:GO.
He's also been in the news before for some of his controversial stuff, like the lottery stuff with CS:GO. So he's definitely not shy from controversy.
Yeah. So this one streamer, Zombie Unicorn, said that Cassell forced her into non-consensual sex activity back in 2016. The two were friends with benefits at the time. But during one sexual encounter, Cassell physically held her down against her will. Another streamer posted a series of videos to Twitter in which she said that Cassell also sexually abused her on multiple occasions. They met when she was 18, she said, and he was her first boyfriend. She said he pressured her to drink when she didn't want to and engage in other behavior that made her uncomfortable. At one point in December 2012, the streamer said that Cassell raped her in a hotel room, physically dragged her to the bed and restrained her, and he didn't care. He just did what he wanted.
Damn.
Cassell published a statement on Twitter on Wednesday addressing both allegations, which he called incorrect. He denied that he did any of that. He also said that he never had a full sexual relationship with the other streamers and that her allegations of rape are completely false. Okay, so the other one, Say No to Rage, we'll just call him Lono for short. So he's a prominent streamer in the Destiny community. He's married too, with children, right?
Oh yeah.
He was accused by variety streamer Jules Verne that she played an entire card game while sitting next to Lono. She said she kept his hand on his thigh the entire time and then basically asked for sex afterward. Later, a streamer who goes by the handle Snaps published a letter she wrote to Lono, in which she recounted an April 2018 movie night that she and Lono attended, during which she said Lono at various points throughout the evening grabbed her hair, repeatedly stared at her, insisted on touching her despite her protest, and talking about how being inebriated made him feel really liberated. Another streamer who goes by Princess Kitley said in a Medium post that Lono's behavior almost put her off streaming altogether when they first started talking. She was just a fan rather than a streamer, and before she began streaming herself, she started watching Lono stream as a college student, and he became what she initially thought was a mentor. Over time, however, his DMs grew more flirtatious, with screenshots she shared of their conversations depicting Lono talking about her legs, asking if she secretly wants to stroke him, and encouraging her to wear nothing. He frequently acted as though he was joking, but it all made Princess Kitley uncomfortable. It's more than just Twitch streamers. A whole bunch of other people in the gaming industry right now is getting called out for inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this just goes on and on. This article talks about a lot of topics that are pretty sensitive, and the fact that they're releasing this in a public forum, it's good on them. But if you guys want to read more about that, we definitely have the links in the description.
Yeah.
Of all the articles, as well as this article, to basically read their entire story.
It's sort of become like a witch hunt almost.
Yeah, that is true.
And the funny thing with this whole witch hunt mob mentality is that they all have this guilty until proven innocent mentality. So everyone is just calling people out and canceling them. But are anyone actually putting out proof of this? Okay, I'm not saying that they're lying. I'm just arguing as devil's advocate here. Are any of these accusers actually putting out proof, solid hard evidence?
Play against you is some stuff like this is hard to prove. How are you going to prove something that happened 5 years ago? There's just no way. I understand where you're coming from, but also kind of understand what they're coming from too. Is all they have is their experiences, their memories.
Right.
But it's very, very difficult to prove this unless people, band together to say this one particular person also did this to me as well.
Yeah.
And it just makes sense or it kind of almost confirms it in a way that this person is a bad person.
Also, though, what's to keep someone from falsely accusing someone.
That is true. Yeah.
Like this kind of environment that we live in which it's just guilty until proven innocent, and a female streamer can just call out a guy that she doesn't like, and falsely accuse him.
And not just that too, but it can also ruin that guy's reputation. If it was false, for example,
Right.
People will still associate that false rumor to him, and thus ruining his whether his position in the gaming industry or as a streamer.
Right. Exactly. And I'm not saying that these guys are these guys are all innocent, but we have to maintain a sort of innocent until proven guilty type mentality, because at this point anyone could just accuse anyone, and if you don't have to show proof to accuse someone, then what, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yep, and obviously, guys, we're thinking for both sides of the case here. We're not defending anybody. We're not saying anyone's wrong, anyone's right. We're just trying to play, like I said, Riven said, devil's advocate to both sides of the case, and have that fine line, that middle ground to really showcase like who is really bad here, and who is really innocent. That's what we're trying to convey in this article and the discussion. And we're very curious to see what you guys have to say. So if you guys are interested, definitely leave it in the comment down below. Let us know your opinions on this issue as well, because obviously this issue is definitely not going to end just by this video alone.
Yeah. Like, these people shouldn't be judged like by the court of public opinion, because there's no due process in that. There has to be like some sort of like trial or proof. So that's all I'm saying.
From what we read, like, I think Twitch is going to start banning out some of these accused allegations. So if you want to roll into that article, we can discuss that further.
Twitch has now banned Warwitch, Dreadcone, I Am Spoon, Bless RNG, and Wolves21, as well as removing the Bless RNG emote. The action has prompted a new wave of discussions about the behavior of streamers and how they should be managed. Recently, there has been an outpour of allegations made against streaming personalities, and some have managed to evade the action made by Twitch.
Yeah, so some have been banned, but obviously not all, because they're still going through the motion of like verifying these allegations. But at least Twitch is slowly making a stand, and for that, we can only applaud Twitch for just realizing the this is a serious issue. And it should be taken seriously. All right, guys, rolling into Talos Tidbits now. But before we get started, a word from our sponsors. Today's sponsored video is our Amazon affiliate links.
We set up links to the various equipment we use to stream and produce these shows.
One of the big questions we always get is how we capture our footages for our live streams. And we use quite a few different capture cards, but one in particular we definitely recommend is the Elgato Capture HD 60S.
It captures 60 frames per second in 1080p in real time.
Definitely check out the links down below. Any support there also supports us right here in this show. Now, rolling into our first news, Persona 5 fans, get ready for this. Persona 5 Joker, as well as the Dragon Quest XI hero, is announced as amiibos for Nintendo Switch. Now, Crash Bandicoot as well has been announced earlier this week. A sequel, or the 4th installment, is coming out as well, with a release date of October 2nd. In some sad news, we have The Undertaker now. If you guys have been watching the Last Ride documentary in WWE Network, he announced his retirement after his WrestleMania Boneyard match with AJ Styles. We don't know if it's true or not, but it seems like it is the case. We'll just have to wait and see. And some exciting news for those fans of the Animorph series back in the day with books. They're coming out with a potential movie. Well, obviously, when we know more about that, we'll definitely let you know. In other movie news, Jurassic Park 3 finally goes back into production with Chris Pratt. Now, for Tony Hawk's news, we finally get a release date finally. For those who pre-order the game, will get access to the warehouse demo starting August 14th. Now, for full game itself, expected September 4th. Get hyped. The next one is Resident Evil 8 news, or Resident Evil Village, if you want to call from its full name, is targeting 60 frames per second as well as VR support, as we expect and hope for. So definitely, I'm excited for some VR action for Resident Evil Village. Now, for Tokyo Game Show itself, for 2020 online, we finally get the official release dates for those, for the unveils. It will be starting in September 23rd and ending on Sunday, September 27th. So definitely, we'll cover that when that time comes. Now, rolling into some Last of Us news, we get some announcements for an HBO exclusive series with Ellie and Joel. Like we don't know who's going to play them, but we're hoping that we don't know who's going to play them, but we're hoping that Troy Baker at least plays Joel. Come on, man. Come on. In other Last of Us news, we also get announcements of like some fans actually playing legit songs from the guitar stuff that Ellie plays during some of the gameplay footages. So definitely check out that in the description as well. Finally, we also get announcements for Last of Us Part 2. It's basically Sony's fastest selling box PS4 game in the UK. So even amongst the controversy happening, it's still one of the fastest selling. So obviously we're not going to do a full coverage of The Last of Us right now because we're still currently playing it on our Twitch. But once we know more about it, we'll definitely give you a full review of The Last of Us. But that pretty much concludes the Talos Tidbits. All links will be in the description. And off to some more of the main news.
Alrighty, rolling into the next article. This one's Nintendo related, actually. It's been a while since we've heard from Nintendo. But apparently, they are stepping away from mobile game development. So Nintendo has a couple of mobile games out there, right? They had that Mario Run game. They have Mario Kart Tour. They have Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Because of the success of the Switch, they feel like they don't need to develop any more mobile games.
And it kind of makes sense. Like obviously the pandemic actually was one of the big factors. Like we talked about this in our earlier coverages, stories and whatnot. But the Switch was extremely hard to find.
Yeah.
It was only until later, until in that where basically we saw the Switch Lite come out. But in terms of the actual full Switch, that the docks, those are pretty much still sold out, I think, as far as I know, as of today.
Yes.
So it makes sense why they would focus more on their Switch titles than their mobile titles.
Yeah. You mentioned Pokemon before. I don't think they're developing Pokemon. I think that's like a different development company.
I think you're right. I think you're right. For some reason, I think of Nintendo. I think of Pokemon games, but yeah, like the Pokemon Cafe, as well as the Pokemon Smile, which is like those two weird generic games for like younger audience.
Yeah,
those are probably not Nintendo exclusive titles or like specific titles from that Nintendo develops.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate because they actually do make money off of it. According to this,
they really do.
Nintendo's mobile output has grossed over $1 billion. I'm not sure if the Switch is counted with that. I think maybe they're just talking about
this one. This one's just their mobile output alone, just the mobile games.
Yeah,
not including Switch. Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I'm not too fond of any of like the Nintendo mobile games. I tried out that Mario one, the Mario Run. Yeah, I'm not. Mm-hmm. It was okay. I mean, I'd rather take full control of Mario.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those like niche games. It was fun for a little bit, but like. I could definitely see your point. It's just it wasn't really for us,
right? Not to mention with the success of the Switch, right? It's you can take it with you to go.
Yeah,
and not to mention the Switch Lite, which is made primarily just for mobile gaming. It's it's even a surprise to me that they would do mobile games in the first place, since they're pretty much like like an industry standard. When it comes to portable gaming, like the success of like the Game Boy, the Game Boy Advance, the DS, the 3DS. So
yeah, they always been technically mobile. It's just that they never actually had like an actual app in a phone. And when it was announced that the Mario Run was going to be an actual mobile game, like it was unprecedented because I think it was the first time ever that that was the first time ever that Nintendo actually release something for the mobile devices.
Yeah. But in the end, I'd rather play like 3DS stuff or something, or bring a Switch with you.
All right, guys, moving into the big one. Obviously, earlier today, obviously the 25th of June, was the Cyberpunk Nightwire episode 1 was announced today, and we're talking about obviously Cyberpunk 2077. We actually got some hands-ons with some, well, not us physically hands-on, but they basically showed some gameplay footages, as well as what I thought was pretty cool, an actual like side story of an anime featured for Netflix later in 2022.
Yeah, so that was like one of the first things they announced, right? Let's see if we can try to find the Cyberpunk anime. There we go. So it's called Cyberpunk Edge Runners, an anime series coming to Netflix that's set in the world, but not in the same storyline. It's happening parallel to storyline.
Yeah, basically, it won't feature the same characters that we know or will play with in the video game. It's just going to be a known like side story that takes place in the same universe.
It's going to be made by Studio Trigger, which is like obviously a Japanese animation studio, and they're known for, I think it's Kill La Kill. Kill La Kill being one of them. Also Little Witch Academia and Darling in the Franxx. So for anyone who's fans of those shows, the animation style is definitely going to look very familiar to you guys. And it's coming out on Netflix 2022, so it's not going to be out for a while. So
once we find more information on that and the actual release date for it, we'll definitely let you guys know. The game looks massive.
Yes.
That's like when I looked at it, it kind of had like almost like a futuristic Grand Theft Auto feel to it. But this game feels extreme massive, and we talked about it before. There's people who actually those in it, like in the news and press, they have played it already, and they all
5 hours. They played they played 5 hours of it, and they said it was pretty breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
Okay, so let's talk about what we saw in the showcase, right? One of the main things that the video showed was brain dancing. Lore-wise, right? It was like a form of entertainment in Night City. It was usually for for sex and stuff like that. But just like with like real technology, right? It's originally used for sex, but it transcends into something more than that, and it ended up becoming like a tool for like
almost like detective work.
Right? Sleuthing, right. So you can almost think of it as like a detective mode from like Batman or something like. I think it was like Batman Arkham Origins or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you get to re-examine like a crime scene, and you can examine everything, like the entire crime scene, and you can analyze like details, like memories. You can fast forward,
even stuff that you yourself may not actually hear or see, but this VR technology is able to do that for you.
Well, it's not just you; it's other people's memories as well.
Yeah, it basically combines all those memories together. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you're able to fast forward, you're able to rewind, you can pause, you can, according to this, assess heat signals, sounds.
It's kind of similar to Detroit Become Human, if you ever played that, Riven. It has basically you can go to the androids and like activate their memory, and basically like whatever the crime scene was, kind of do an analysis of that crime scene.
Yeah, you can play through it and analyze it. Yeah. So it sounds kind of cool, like like a sort of puzzle element to the game.
But it was a pretty short event. It was only like I think 35 minutes. Talking with developers and whatnot. But as we've mentioned before, it's only going to be episode 1. When episode 2 does get announced and revealed, we'll definitely cover that.
All right. One last thing I wanted to point out is that with Cyberpunk 2077 getting delayed, it affects its standing for 2020's Game of the Year. It doesn't qualify for it.
Really? Why? How?
Yeah, according to this, games eligible for the Game Awards must be available for public consumption on or before November 15th.
Ooh, and it comes out the 19th, right?
Yes. So Cyberpunk 2077 comes out November 19th. So it's not eligible for 2020 Game of the Year. It becomes eligible for Game of the Year in 2021 possibly, but
do you think they did it on purpose?
To be honest with you, I don't think so. I think it's better if the game comes out like a little before the cutoff date, because it's more fresh in people's minds. Or I feel like if it's eligible for next year, it may not be as fresh on people's minds.
Well, it depends. Well, we don't know that for sure, but the game, like I said before, is pretty massive, so they might still be playing it for the entire year.
Yeah, that's true.
It depends if DLCs are coming out as well, or if any extra content and stuff like that. But
That's true.
That's very interesting, though. It's very interesting.
Yeah, we're also not sure yet what types of games that are going to be out in that time. PlayStation 5 will be out at that time, so we'll be playing some PlayStation 5 games. I mean, we'll be playing Cyberpunk 2077 on our PlayStation 5s, though, so maybe Final Fantasy 7 Remake will take Game of the Year for 2020.
Yeah, it's a very good potential there, because we're looking at the other titles right now. The big titles, AAA titles. There's Resident Evil 3. There's the Ghost of Tsushima, which is not out yet, so we can't really say yes or no for that title.
There's Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. Animal Crossing, if you want to add that into the mix. But
Marvel's Avengers, which it's supposed to come out like September.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't see them, beating Final Fantasy 7 Remake. And with Cyberpunk 2077 out of the running, it's looking pretty likely.
Yeah, I mean, that's just our personal opinion, but I kind of agree with you. Like, I think FF7 Remake is probably gonna take home Game of the Year.
Yeah.
For this year.
Alrighty, that's it for the news for now. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. We'll try to keep you guys updated on developing stories. And as always, if you liked our video, you can always support us by liking and subscribing. And comment down below, what do you guys think about Mixer shutting down? And what do you guys think about all this Twitch drama happening?
And of course, as always, you guys check out the description for our Amazon affiliate links down below. Any link support on there also supports the show.
This is Talos and Ribbon signing out. See you guys later.
Hey guys.